What's up, guys? Welcome in. It is Monday here on Wake Up Barstool. We're going to recap last night's Sunday night game. We got Coach Jon Gruden and Greg Olsen joining us for the Football G-Spot, plus Coach Gruden's Shred Line. We got Dave Portnoy here in studio. Best win of the college football weekend. Brandon Walker's Top 10. Wake Up Barstool starts now. Yo, what is going on, FS1? What is going on, world? It is Monday here in Barstool Sports Chicago HQ, and we have a massive weekend of football to break down.
What?
It's just very TV-y that you felt when he's like, hey, welcome. You felt like you had to do one of these.
No, I do this every day. Yeah. Look how tiny you look in the middle.
I didn't see the middle shot. Can't see the middle shot.
Can we pull back out so Dave can judge whether or not he looks tiny in the middle?
Somebody sit up straight.
Yeah, I do.
It must be the white.
You guys are both big guys.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm further away.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not further away?
You're slightly further away. We're basically at the same level.
Yeah, it's like forced perspective. Look, we have a lot to get into. Let's start with last night's Sunday night football game. A thorough ass whooping by the Kansas City Chiefs. But Dave, you seem to have some beef.
Well, yeah. This is just a straight gambling take. Jon Gruden put out his parlay, and I can't win anything. His parlay was over 40 rushing yards. Pacheco under, like, come on, Meek, keep your stuff together over there. It was 220 under passing yards for Russell Wilson, and then 2 made field goals from Graham Gano. So the first 2 are easy. Graham Gano, this is the second time he's done this with the Giants. And Graham Gano, I checked him because I was getting ready to rip him apart. He follows me on Twitter, so he'll probably see this. Graham Gano's done this twice. He's gotten hurt before the game. Now, this guy, he doesn't kick in the first half. They forego a 44-yard field goal, basically a layup field goal to put the Giants up 3-0. They say, oh, Graham Gano popped his hamstring pregame, not going to kick today. They score a touchdown. He's not there for the extra point. He goes out at halftime, and they're doing like a Tom Rinaldi segment on him. Oh, he's hurt. He's trying to kick these extra points. He's falling over. Fine, he's not going to come in. With DraftKings, set the tone here. I know it's early to go over this. If you don't enter the game, you're hurt. It voids his portion of the bet.
You still win.
Yeah, it goes from a 3-team parlay to a 2-team parlay. You still win. They wheel this guy onto the field late third quarter for a 20-yard field goal. He kicks it, topples over. He's probably out for the season. It screws up everything. Either kick or don't kick. And I know you follow me on Graham Gano, but if you've been injured twice in pregame, leaving your team with no kicker, you have to be cut from the league. You can't become unavailable as an NFL kicker minutes before the game. What are you doing? Are you fragile? Are you made of glass? And you cost me a significant amount of money.
One of the all-time worst Dave Portnoy rants I've ever heard in my life.
Why?
This guy got hurt. This guy's hurt. This guy is going out there trying to provide for his family, and you're saying cut him from the league because it costs you a little money.
No. I think you're just doing that to disagree. If you're an NFL team and your kicker becomes unavailable twice minutes before the game, that how often does that happen? Have you ever heard that happening with kickers?
I've heard it happening before. Maybe
With him?
not twice.
With him?
I didn't pay attention to Graham Gano that closely. So I don't know how many times it's happened to him
Giants
before.
fans were going crazy on social media, be like, get this guy off the team. What?
I think it happened in a Panthers game with Gano recently in the last 2 years, maybe.
This is actually the third time it's happened to Gano.
Third time.
Last year versus Commanders and the year before that versus the Jets in 2023. Wow. So 3 years in a row it's happened.
Getting hurt in a pregame.
Yeah. Yes.
Is something wrong with his warm-ups?
Do you want to apologize?
I'm not apologizing, but I will. There is new information out there. I'll admit that.
So do you apologize?
Is he getting hurt? What's he doing?
It's not new information.
He's fragile.
It's not new information if it's happened in the past.
It's new information if I just found it out, Meek.
No, it's not.
It is new information.
That's not how it works.
It's new to him.
That's how new information works.
Yeah.
All right.
So let me, dead serious, I'm ranting because I lost. Would you, if you're have the possibility once a season of losing somehow your kicker in a non-physical manner.
But it is physical.
But look,
got hurt.
Non-contact.
Yeah, but it's still. I mean, it's still Graham Gano. He's one of the more consistent kickers in the league. Look what happened to the Falcons when they got rid of Koo. You don't think they missed him immediately?
Are they going to
yesterday when they
re-sign
missed
him
their
back
first-
immediately?
I know, right?
If your kicker loses 1 to 2 games, is unavailable. All right, fine. I apparently love kickers here. This is crazy.
No. It's crazy. The game last night was not Graham Gano's fault. I understand the bad beat. Like, Russell Wilson sucks. Like, as a Giants fan, I would be beside myself that
First of
Russell
all,
Wilson still played.
it can change if you score first and get out to a 3-0 lead. And weren't they kind of in the game? I'm going to admit I
were in
wasn't.
the game.
The back door was open.
Yes, and they were coming down. So I mean, I didn't think the Chiefs looked great.
No, the Chiefs did, and that's why it's such an indictment of the New York Giants. The Chiefs did not look great. The Giants had every opportunity to win that game. The Russell Wilson final red zone possession is maybe the worst sequence of 4 plays you will ever see. Intentional grounding, 4-yard draw. He skies one out the back of the end zone, and then he hits the crossbar on 4th down.
Well, he stinks. He's old, and they're not in win now mentality anyways. They're waiting for Jackson Dart, and I don't know what I think about putting eye black on when you're the backup either, if we're going to be honest about that. I don't think you put...
I have no idea why they're not playing Jackson Dart. And I think last night was an indictment on the Cowboys because they made Russell Wilson last week. He threw for, 450 yards? Now, last night he couldn't complete a pass.
I'll tell you why they're not playing Jackson Dart, because they're not ready to win anyways, and you might as well let them stay there and see defenses. When we were younger gentlemen, me being the oldest here, it was very rare that rookie quarterbacks are playing week 1 anyway. So I have no problem. What is that going to radically change how this team is this year? Who cares?
I'd play Jameis, personally. I'd play Jameis and then get Jackson some action later in the season.
I agree with that.
I just think if you draft a guy in the first round, if you trade up to draft him, you're showing your franchise, you're showing your team, you're showing your fan base, hey, this is our guy for the future. Let's go. Let's go. What
I
are we
mean, the
waiting
Chiefs
for?
traded up for Patrick Mahomes. They didn't play him till week 17.
What's he doing?
He's in your butt today.
What's he
I
doing?
love it.
He's an extension of Dave, and he's
It's
just up your ass.
7:07, dude. It's 7. We're 7 minutes into the show.
But you're asking for a fact there.
Meek is a firecracker in his butt today. But there is something to be said for a quarterback. And you hear this, if you play right away, your team stinks, you're getting hit, you start getting the yips. It's like, so what is the advantage of throwing a guy out there to lose games and get hammered?
I feel like if you trade up to get him, and I think Jackson Dart, he played 4 years in college, right? I think this is
Mississippi.
He was at Mississippi. Well, he was at USC for a
at
year,
first.
and then he went to Ole Miss. He was lame for 3 years. Like I think this guy's ready. I don't think this is a typical guy. This isn't a project to me. This is a ready guy.
I mean,
Why are you looking like that?
I disagree with. I don't. This isn't a Jackson Dart comment. This is a rookie coming into the league, and it's hard for you're not going to win games. The longer you can rest them, I feel like that generally helps quarterback development.
This guy isn't J.J. McCarthy. He's a legit NFL quarterback.
Meek, what about? I mean, look, you're a resident Giants correspondent here, right?
That one.
Convince me this is not a Brian Daboll problem, because I'm sitting here, I'm watching Danny Dimes kick ass every single Sunday. We see Saquon flourish. Like, how is this not a Giants organizational problem?
It is an organizational problem, but at the same time, it also is just a quarterback problem too. Like Russell Wilson's a shit. This guy. Russell Wilson is a bad quarterback.
You've only had like
Erase
30 words on the show.
Well, you got me talking about my teams. It's going to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Russell Wilson's a bad quarterback, and it's not going to get better.
But I understand that. Dave said, right, they're not in win now,
Yeah.
but we can all agree. What is Daboll can't be back, though.
I mean, his job's on the line. I think he gets fired this year. I think that's safe to say.
But is his job? That is one thing that you would think would make me think maybe his job's not on the line, because if your job is on the line, why are you playing Russell Wilson? Because you know you're not going to win with him. So maybe it's not. And by the way, the GM there still, I mean, that clip from Hard Knocks is going to stay with him with the Saquon and his kid being. So maybe they have another year. They're acting like they have another year with the decisions they're making at quarterback.
Cam Skadbu looked awesome, though.
Yep.
Like, if you need some silver lining as a Giants fan. Also, did you all see the Patrick Mahomes play? Maybe the worst or the best bad play of all time. He laterals it backwards, awful pass. It's a fumble. Giants pick it up. They're running in the end zone. Patrick Mahomes runs up and steals the ball back, Meek. And it was at that point that I knew Giants +6 was never going to happen.
I like Cam Skadbu. I loved him at Arizona State. He is like the great white hope. Like, people love this guy, and if he gains 60 yards, they're going to act like he gained 240. If he gains 240, they're going to act like he gained 1,000. He's going to break a tackle with the crown of his helmet, knock a guy down, and get tackled a yard later. They're going to act like he's Walter Payton. I like Camp Scatterboo, but Camp Scatterboo is on watch out. He could get annoying fast because they're going to go crazy on him in New York. Too quickly alert. Just saying, New York fans will do that.
I agree with all that. However, the backflip was very impressive.
Listen,
the backflip was crazy impressive.
He's gone to a city that may make me hate Camp Scatterboo. New Yorkers, it doesn't matter who we're talking about. They get a guy like this. Hey, who's the quarterback?
Tommy DeVito.
Tommy DeVito. Tommy
Yeah.
Cutlets, Linsanity. This guy has it all. This guy, and he was a late draft pick. He was great in college. I loved him at Arizona State. I actually really liked the guy. He may get New York to death.
I don't disagree, but also, like, just showing the rushing statistics does not tell the story of Cam Scatterboo's game last night. Like, he had I'm telling you, he
Who's
had
their leading receiver?
Look at the total yards.
Leading
I
receiver,
like
61.
Cam Scatterboo.
I'm not saying you don't.
New Yorkers, the guys wearing the suits at Madison Square Garden who are so annoying, they have a chance to ruin Cam Scatterboo.
So Giants, it just gets worse and worse in New York. Another game, big game yesterday with another insane beat. Eagles-Rams. The Rams jumping up to a 26-7 lead, looking as if they're absolutely dominating. And then, it's rare, Jalen Hurts throws the ball. He has to throw his way back into the game. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith come online, and the Eagles get a statement comeback win.
I don't know if I'm calling that a statement win. Let me say this. When you're the defending Super Bowl champions, there's no such thing as a statement win until you maybe repeat as a Super Bowl champion. Needing a block field goal, which I don't know what the heck was going on yesterday. It was a block field goal.
It was a special teams day.
Yeah, every time you
Special
looked,
day.
it was a block field goal.
They had back-to-back.
What's that?
They had back-to-back.
Yeah,
They
it was
both
all over
too.
the place. Red zone was just, you go block field goal, block field goal, block field goal. Great game. Eagles, I mean, I'd actually say if it's possible for a team coming off a Super Bowl who's won like 1 million games in a row, they don't almost get the respect that I think they deserve. They're clearly the team to beat. Clearly.
Yeah.
I think they get the respect
You
they
think they
deserve.
do?
Yeah,
You think
the
they talk
Eagles-
about like the Chiefs?
No, but that's a Mahomes thing. I think Mahomes.
that's my point.
Yeah, I
Thank
guess
you,
I guess
Brandon.
you're right. I
You
guess
just
you're
made
right.
my point. Thank
Not
you.
really. I said
Thank
it a lot
you,
better
Brandon
than you
Walker.
did.
No,
I
you
think it's
said
more.
the opposite.
If
Thank you, Brandon Walker. Thanks.
if the Eagles had a quarterback that could be marketed as Patrick Mahomes is, then I feel like
Well, why isn't Jalen Hurts?
because Jalen
You're
Hurts isn't as
making
good
my
as Patrick
point.
Mahomes. That's what I'm trying to say.
You're making my point. Thank you.
Jalen Hurts isn't as good as Patrick Mahomes.
Well, is he not?
No, he's not.
Right
no,
now?
he's not. What
Right
are you
now?
looking over there for? Why are you looking at your little buddy? My buddy over there.
Why
My
not?
buddy.
I'm not
and
Jalen
me.
Hurts guy. I'm not chiming in on that.
Why not right now? Is he not?
Because he's
The
not
second- I'm
as
not
good,
saying that-
especially peak Patrick Mahomes. Peak Patrick Mahomes was doing things we had never seen before. Jalen Hurts runs up his center's butthole.
Jalen
I've never
Hurts.
seen that before.
Jalen Hurts is doing pretty well right now.
He's
Defending
good, solid.
Super
And
Bowl
I was more impressed with the Eagles yesterday because they had to come back and they finally broke out the passing game. They finally involved A.J. Brown. They finally involved Devontae Smith. They finally look like a team that can do it many different ways as opposed to what they've been doing.
If you've heard me talk about Jalen Hurts, the thing that I always say about him is he is the ultimate winning quarterback in the NFL right now. Like, he doesn't give a damn about stats. He will do whatever the context of the game asks him to do to win, and this is the perfect example yesterday with the 3 passing touchdowns there in the second half. But Dave, I mean, this has got to be a statement, though. I mean, the Rams, I get what you're saying, they're champs, whatever, but like the Rams are the closest team to beat him in last year's playoff. They're down huge. Eagles fans are booing at halftime, and they come out here and
No, I don't.
rip
They
the
won
game
on
away.
a blocked field goal for a touchdown. That's not a statement.
T-Bob, wouldn't a statement
Yeah,
been beating them by 3 touchdowns?
Thank you.
Okay, is this no? Because I think they show the medal of why they are Super Bowl champs.
It's a fluke. They pulled the
toughest
parachute,
adversity.
the little trap door, and they escaped out the back. To me, if anything, if you're saying anybody made a statement here, I would actually say the Rams did as a legitimate Super Bowl team.
Yeah, no, we already understood them to be a legitimate Super Bowl
did not.
team. Look at last year into this year. If Matt Stafford is healthy, they absolutely are. Look at how they finished last year. You can't say
Yeah,
that.
but a lot of people don't think Matt Stafford's healthy still.
Yeah, but he's
I didn't think the Rams were a legit Super Bowl team. I don't know if I do now. I didn't. This certainly maybe helps their case.
What if there wasn't a statement made in that game yesterday? What if it was just a game where there was a big comeback?
I think that I'd agree with that.
Okay.
I agree, Brandon.
Okay, well,
Shut up, Meek.
Is this a statement then made by Jordan Davis? Because I think this may be one of the best defensive tackling, guy who blocked the field goal, returned the kick for a touchdown, fastest speed a 300-pounder has ever achieved while carrying the ball, nearly 19 miles an hour. But listen to this. He had a turnover and down run stop. He had
fact.
Yeah,
how long have we been recording that?
Probably like 15 years.
Okay.
But you think 300-pounders are faster?
No, I think it's very impressive.
Look, he had a turnover downs run stop. He had 2 blocked field goals. He had the return of a touchdown. He had 5 tackles. He had a sack. He had a TFL quarterback hit. Jordan Davis put together one of the most dominant single D-line games we have ever seen yesterday.
Yeah, it was crazy. He was awesome. There's another one of those Georgia guys, right?
Yeah, him and Jalen Carter.
The Georgia Eagles, the pipeline is just thick.
Yeah, and I will be the guy to bring up that the Eagles dynasty, or if you want to call that a run or a championship medal of this team they have right now, has been launched on the heels of a tragedy. There's no other way to say it, because Jalen Carter would have been the number 1 pick in the draft if he didn't have trouble coming in and all these issues. He slipped, and the Eagles, I guess, get congratulated for the first team to be like, we don't care about off-field issues, and we'll take the guy that everybody knows is the most talented, and he has drastically changed that team for the better.
Not the first team, though. Chiefs, Tyreek Hill, very recently. List goes on and on.
But that's not a draft.
They got him in the 5th round.
Well, he
did fall to the 5th round.
He said list goes on you. That's what he did.
They got him in the 5th round because he got kicked out of Oklahoma State for,
Off the field stuff.
That's a good point. Good point.
The nerds are
nerds
can't play.
I have more for you, Brandon. 2004 Dolphins, Olindo Mar, aggravated calf injury in warm-ups. Wes Welker had a kick.
Can I just say something to clarify, Blutman? I was talking about the draft, this particular draft. They were the first team to take him.
I understand that now.
Well, no, you went to it like
no, I
way
understand
back
that now.
in the years.
I understand now.
Yeah.
A blip in my system.
Yeah.
But my point,
I wasn't looking
my
like
point
what year
also
was
still
Tyreek
stands.
Hill? What year was Tyreek Hill?
16?
Yeah, so I wasn't going back 16. I was just looking at that draft.
Yeah, you were just making a point.
We're
and
both
you
right.
got corrected on it. You want to act like you weren't doing that. Yeah, that's fine.
I wasn't looking at the first team in the history of draft to draft somebody with off-season issues.
Again, my fault. I misinterpreted. Sometimes I misinterpret.
It was a blip in the system.
Dave, you forgot. remember when the Cowboys drafted Lyle Collins or signed him after the draft. Do you remember that? He fell all the way out the draft. Lyle Collins, supposed to be a first-round pick.
No.
Offensive lineman from LSU.
Yeah.
But they haven't won anything with him.
No wonder I didn't.
No, guys. I was doing a bit.
Who's doing a bit?
I was doing
random
a bit.
LSU line.
No, he said, I'm not going back that far. I went back farther. All right,
Remember,
coming up next.
it was right before the draft. He got implicated. We thought he was going to be a suspect in a murder.
Yeah.
Are
And
we still talking about this LSU lineman?
yeah.
Coming up next here on Wake Up Barstool, guys, we got the football G-Spot. Coach Jon Gruden and Greg Olsen join the show. Keep it locked here on FS1.
All right. Finally, Greg joins us back here. We got the G-Spot. And I didn't want to talk in the commercial break because all three of us were audibly stunned by Greg Olsen dressing as a third base umpire for today's show. What is going on with this look, Greg? Are you doing
you don't like my shirt?
Well, I mean, the shirt with the hat.
Well, the hat is just because I haven't done my hair this morning.
A logoless hat. It looks like you're heading straight to the NLCS or something to call a
Never know.
game.
No, I got the
Unbelievable,
game
just straight look here.
Hey, listen, I'm just going to be honest. If I'm going to keep getting a hard time from this show, I might just bag Monday mornings and just be like, you know what, you guys are on your own. Deal with it. Good luck.
Well, I mean, this look, it was preposterous. So I will try not to. You did bag it last week, by the way, but I'll try.
I might bag it again next week.
I'll try not to get in on you, but at least don't look like you're going to be an AL ump or something. Okay. You guys had a great segment, first of all.
At what point are you like Mr. Fashion? You've got some bad outfits. You're real critical of everybody else's look for a guy who's not the best looking guy in the world. Let's just be clear.
Well, there's a difference between best looking, not great looking, and fashion. I can't control how I look. This is how God made me, Greg. But I can wear nice clothes and not look like no effort over here. Can we move past it?
I don't know. It's your show. You tell me.
Yeah, we're going to move past it. You guys had a great segment. We're going to get the back of the game you called, which was crazy. Eagles-Rams. Three 3 shocking results, and I don't know if anything's ever shocking in the NFL nowadays. I always say hungry dog runs faster week to week. You never know. But I'm going to let you guys decide. I'll start with you, Coach. Atlanta versus Carolina, Cleveland, Green Bay, Bears, Cowboys. To you, what was the most shocking? Feel free to go in on any of these games, but what shocked you the most, Coach?
Well, the Falcons getting beat 30-0 completely shocked me. I was really impressed with Atlanta on Monday night against Minnesota. You don't go to the Dome in Minnesota and put a performance like that together and then go lay an egg. I mean, 30-0. It looked bad in all 3 phases. They couldn't convert on 3rd down. It was ugly. And that's a division game. You got to win these games. And I know Greg's an ex-Carolina Panther. He's probably loving it, but that was really bad. The Browns have always snuck up on people at home. They got Baltimore at home last year. The Cowboys are really bad in the secondary, so neither one of those games completely shocked me, but I was really shocked and disappointed with the Falcons.
What about you, Greg?
Yeah, obviously I pay close attention to the Panther games. The first 2 weeks didn't look great. I thought they showed a little life in the week 2. They fell behind big to Arizona, tried to put a comeback together, obviously fell short. I think the home opener, I think there was a lot of interest in Carolina, in Charlotte. Obviously, I'm there, my friends, guys I know around the organization. Like, the concern was, do they fall to 0-3? Where are the wins on their schedule? I don't know if I was so much shocked that they beat Atlanta, but I'm with Coach. Like, you just don't see a lot of games in the NFL 30-0, let alone a team that hadn't won yet. So happy for Canales. I was probably equally, if not more so, shocked. See, I was shocked at the Green Bay loss. I thought through the first couple weeks, Green Bay offensively, defensively, obviously Micah Parsons making a big difference. I thought they were a really top-tier NFC team, had a chance to make a run here by the end of the year. And then, I just, the Browns, I don't think the Browns
Does that change it? Can a 1 week thing now, do you look at the Packers differently because of that?
No, I don't. I don't. I try not to get wrapped up in the week by week ups and downs in the league. We're going to see upsets. We're going to see teams that we think stink all of a sudden pull out games and vice versa. I don't feel that much different about Green Bay. Now, over the next couple weeks, if this is more of a pattern versus just a one-off bad day where it just didn't go their way, then you have to start having concerns. I think the NFL is too hard. It's too long. I think you get too focused on one individual moment, one individual game, and you can get kind of lost through exactly who's good and who's not. So I'm not worried about Green Bay, but that was a pretty shocking pick.
Going
shocking loss.
Going back to Atlanta for a second, one thing I thought, because they did bring in Kirk Cousins at the end of the game, and everyone was obviously shocked, I think, when they took Penix because they signed Cousins to that gigantic deal. It still seems like they're creating just the perfect stew for some sort of quarterback controversy out of nowhere. Like, is this something that you think is going to become an ongoing issue? If they bench the other guy, you got Cousins sitting there. Why would you ever create this sort of controversy for your own team? Like, why would you bring Cousins in? That seemed crazy to me, Coach.
Well, Cousins is making $45 million. He's had a history of making big plays in this league. Their passing game is really bad right now, Dave. I mean, they couldn't throw the ball at all yesterday. They couldn't throw the ball against the Vikings.
Yeah, so what are they going to do?
I don't know what they're going to do, but Mike Penix was really off yesterday. He was late, completely out of rhythm. I don't know what their pass offense is. They're in a pistol formation a lot of the time. They're just not a real good drop-back passing team. They've got some good receivers. We're all waiting for Kyle Pitts in year 5 to take off, but it's just ugly, hard to watch pass offense. I think they got some problems inside the building with what they want to do throwing the football. It just looks too hard to me. But Kirk Cousins, he's got a lot of experience. When you're a young quarterback and you're going through growing pains with your 5th or 6th start, sometimes the best way you can learn is sitting down. We saw that happen last year with Bryce Young. Maybe he needs to watch a little bit and come back here in a couple weeks. But that was one bad passing performance yesterday.
All right, so moving on to the X's and O's, because there's a lot of X's and O's. You can get X's and O's on every channel you want to go. Maybe not better than YouTube to talk about it, but Bill Belichick. We got to talk Belichick. So they get slammed by UCF. They've played 2 real teams now, and they've gotten hammered by both of them. What everybody is talking about is his girlfriend Jordan, who's on the sidelines before the game, and they're having a little chat session here in close, sweet nothings. You guys have both played football for a long, long time. Have you ever seen the girlfriend or the wife? I don't remember seeing it on the sidelines in this situation. They're warming up, ready to go to the game. Greg, like, what is going on here to my guy?
I don't know, but did you guys see the AI that somebody did where it turned into like a full-on like hug? Did you guys see that?
It wasn't
clip?
just a hug. It was a make out. She straddled him. I think a gentleman by the name of PFT commenter may have posted it.
He did post it. I don't know who made it, but I might have laughed. It was actually, I thought, pretty funny. Yeah, you know, I think in today's college world, I think there's all sorts of stuff that a lot of us are not used to seeing. Who's on the sideline, who runs programs, who has say into programs, the influence. Listen, I don't think Belichick necessarily cares what anybody thinks. I think Belichick's going to do his thing. I think he's going to have who he wants on the sideline, who he doesn't want on the sideline. He obviously values her opinion in a lot of factors.
Football?
Do I care if a coach's wife, girlfriend, kids are on the sideline before, during, after a game? I don't necessarily care. But I guess to each their own. You know, at the end of the day, if you win, you can bring your whole family on the sideline. You can give them. She could wear a headset if they were winning, right? Like at the end of the day, you are going to bring controversy. You are going to bring eyeballs and criticism when you lose. And when you lose, everything's a big deal.
So, Coach, here's the thing. I followed the Patriots, and this was the ultimate no distraction guy. Don't talk to the media. Don't do anything that gets the people talking. Well, they're talking and they're losing by 30. Have you ever had, and we've met your lovely wife, you have her drawing whiteboard plays. Has she ever been on the sidelines before a game?
Well, actually, she called the game winner against the Ravens on Monday Night Football a couple of years ago. She came down on the field and helped me through a tough situation. It was an all-out blitz, and she told me to go with 58 Surge. So thank God she saved the day that day. But I've never seen anything like that. You know, Mike Lombardi works for North Carolina. I've heard him criticize me several times. I'm sure he'll produce a TikTok today explaining exactly what was going on there.
It is a shocking development. Greg, you skipped last week, no-showed. We had a clip ready for you. I don't know if you knew this, but Fran Brown, the Syracuse coach, he took umbrage with what you said about him. Greg, he came right at your throat, then he backed it up. He said, here, eat some of this. A little humble pie. They go and beat Syracuse yesterday. So, I mean, they beat Clemson Saturday. So maybe win sprints on the field, that's what you got to do to win big games.
Listen, I've never, from the jump, I have no issue with Fran Brown.
Seems like you do.
On my quote that when you guys asked me about it, I said I think he's done a good job. He's helped make them relevant. All these things. Just because you're a good coach and you win a lot of games doesn't necessarily, I think, everything that you do is right. I've had coaches that I've played for that I love, that I thought were incredible coaches, that I agree with everything we did, that I love everything we did. No. So I think Fran Brown being a good coach and doing a good job at Syracuse, which I said he did, he has done. Before he beat Clemson, I thought he was doing a good job. Doesn't necessarily mean that I still think they should be running wind sprints on the game field after a game. So I think those two things are completely separate. I think there's a lot of things that when you win, everything that you do looks right. And when you lose, everything that you do looks stupid. And oftentimes in the media and on these shows, we try to connect the cause and effect.
Well, you did.
Both ways. Well, you guys brought it up. You guys brought up the question. You asked.
He didn't mention my name. He just said you. He just said, I have a problem with Greg Olsen.
Well, I should say all we need to know.
Here's something that I have an issue with. And we've been talking about the office. This happened a lot on college. It's happening in the South. Lightning delays. If you're watching these football games, you're seeing games, they start at noon, and then they're having 3-hour delays before they get back on the field because of lightning. I said there should be no delays. I don't recall anybody ever getting struck by lightning in a field. I could be wrong, and I don't remember when you guys were playing that we were having these lightning delays. Coach, you've been in the game a long time. Were you getting ushered off the field for lightning delays, or is this something that maybe society you think is getting a little soft? Sign a waiver when you come in. I know if lightning comes, I may get hit. So be it. But let's play football. What is going on? A 3-hour delay in the middle of the game is nuts. Coach?
Well, I live down in Tampa. It's the lightning capital of the world. So we lost a lot of training camp practices because of lightning. I can't remember having a lightning delay, although the Buccaneers have had a few over the last several years. But there is this thing called liability, Dave. I hate to break it to you. If somebody were to get struck by lightning, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of liability. So you got to be very cautious. And don't forget, as you know, global warming has to be a big part of this. There has to be some reasons for all this lightning across the globe right now.
Oh, Lord.
Why can't we just do a waiver? Why can't you just say, hey, I'm coming in. If it hits me, I'm not going to sue. Greg, did you have lightning delay? It's every week now.
So we used to have them a lot in practice. So this is actually a great story. So we're at University of Miami, like Coach said, down in Florida in the summer. There was lightning every day. It rained every day. There was thunderstorms every day. So when I first got there, they installed like lightning detectors on top of our athletic facility. And man, it changed the world. We'd be out there, it'd be a sunny day, and all of a sudden the lightning alarms would go off, and we would haul ass into the locker room, camp practice. We'd get a training camp day off. And then after about a week of that, all of a sudden there would be thunderstorms, lightning on top of the field, and these alarms didn't go off. And we were convinced, we couldn't prove it. I think they unplugged them. Like, I think they put in these fancy lightning detectors, and then after 1 or 2 practices, they had them unplugged. They never went off for 3 more years. They never once went off. We practiced lightning, hailstorms, no matter what. But we got a couple practices saved in college, but it didn't last very long.
Well, I always, for the fans, the players go into the locker room. The fans just leave the stadium, so you just get hit by lightning in a different spot. Then you could reverse sue. It's like, if you didn't kick me out, I wouldn't have gotten hit by that lightning. Last one, we got to watch this. This is about a week old. Happened right after our show. The Tom Brady flag football game in Saudi Arabia. $75 million he got paid to do this. The fastest growing game in the world, flag football. The question obviously is, how much for each of you, coach, to go out there and coach this flag football game? Greg, if they said, hey, old man, dust it off. We want you to get back in here, play some football. Greg, what's your price? Would you do this? And by the way, this is weird. Brady's saying, anybody who's like, this was normal, it wasn't, it was weird, but go.
He got $75 million?
$75 million.
Is that real?
Yes.
Wow.
That's what I was told.
Good for him. How
Guys
much for
stealing
me?
your job, stealing your flag football league.
I hope I can get a job as an offensive coordinator on a flag team.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much? What's your number, Coach?
Well, if I can coach Tom Brady in flag football, I'll do it for free. That would be a great experience. Since I'm the guy that turned him down in Las Vegas, maybe I get a chance to coach him yet as it is right now. That would be unbelievable.
He's the guy Brady was whining about, being like, I know a guy who didn't want me. Gruden.
I was waiting though for the big announcement. I heard it was going to be a big announcement. I was kind of hoping they were going to make a couple trades to help the Raiders win some games, but I haven't caught the flag football bug yet. But maybe this will be the issue that pushes me over the top now.
You know, and before we go, I should ask this because you just segued to it. Do you think there's anything to the Brady being an announcer and owner thing being in the meeting, or do you think that's much to do about nothing? Greg?
I mean, I think it's up to the teams to decide what information they disclose in those production meetings. And I've been in production meetings where teams have told us the entire game plan. And obviously there's a level of trust that you're not going to go out and share it with anyone before kickoff. And there's teams that tell you absolutely nothing. You hang up from the phone, you hang up from the call, and you're like, that was a complete waste of time. That adds no value. So I think every team has to handle it. I have no issue with him being an owner. I have no issue with him doing both personally, but if a team wants to be guarded on whether they give him access or what they tell him, they have every right to do that. And I think it's up to every team to control their own information flow, and the onus is on them.
Yeah, I think it puts Tom in an awkward spot, certainly, and I think it puts a lot of people in awkward positions. You know, as an announcer, Greg, you go to the production meetings, you talk to the coordinators, you talk to the head coaches, you get to see them practice, and you and I go call the game. He's flying back to Las Vegas and putting a headset on, talking to the coaches during the game. So I can see some emotions and some doubt and some awkward positions that people have. But I think people got enough respect for Tom Brady and enough respect for football that it's not as big a problem as people think it is.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys both coming on. I know, Greg, if it became a problem, you slide right up to one. We have something that supposedly we created. I haven't seen it here. Oh, look, we got the Photoshop team working full speed for you here. That is this is dead on. That doesn't even look like Photoshop. Thank you guys for joining. Hopefully next week we still have you, Greg.
Well, it's up for debate. I'm in Ireland, so I'm not. Well, I'll send you my fee.
All right. Thank you, guys.
What up, FS1? Welcome back to Wake Up Barstool. Talk a lot of NFL today. Now it's time to talk some college football with the king of college football, Brandon Walker. He's got a brand new Brandon's Top 10 for you. B-Walk, what up, man?
I do. I have a brand new top 10, and it's really reflective of the weekend. Indiana was super impressive. I thought there were 3 big-time statements made this weekend with Indiana, the way they beat Illinois, Texas Tech, the way they beat Utah, and then some officiating in Norman, Oklahoma, which we'll get to. I do have Indiana creeping into the top 10 with how impressive they were, beating a previously top 10 team in Illinois. They were number 9. They killed them. Texas A&M is there, Florida State, LSU, but LSU's tenuous, man.
Just let us kind of sit to the side.
You guys have a big kind of come to Jesus this weekend when you go to Oxford and you play Ole Miss. So LSU's going to figure itself out. I kind of got you there as a placeholder right now because you were put up there because you beat a team who isn't very good. Oregon, Georgia, Miami. Miami continues to look good. Even though they were kind of sluggish against Florida, they ended up winning 26-7, and then Ohio State, Penn State, which we'll find out a lot about Penn State this weekend when they host Oregon.
Penn State season finally begins.
It finally begins.
It's been a long road for Nittany Lion fans.
3 terrible teams and a bye week, and now they finally play Oregon this week. This is a gigantic week in college football.
What has been going through my mind is Florida State. Now, granted, they played a terrible team, Jacksonville. I don't even know who they played Kent State, hung 1,000 on them. I think Alabama's going to turn out being pretty good. They whooped that team. I think Florida State, if I had right now outside Michigan, which I'm obviously a Michigan guy, but if I had to take a future on a team right now, I think Florida State, now I don't know how bad the quarterback got hurt. Castellanos is out. But assuming he's healthy, I think that's a very, very, very dangerous team.
I think I've always been waiting for an ACC that comes down to like Florida State and Miami. Without Clemson, and it looks like we finally got there. With Georgia Tech kind of on the periphery there, there's other teams. But, yeah, I think Florida State, you're right, Alabama's looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I think the quarterback's pretty good.
Remember Todd Simpson, highest-rated passer in the SEC?
I think he's pretty good.
He's looked really good ever since the Florida State game. They destroyed Wisconsin, which Wisconsin isn't great, but they still destroyed them. They've looked really efficient, really good. Now they have a prove-it.
That's the nicest thing said about Wisconsin.
I was going to say,
quarterback change.
They need everything changed.
Fickle, they lost by 100.
I can't believe Fickle hasn't worked out at Wisconsin. When he got hired, I thought
you got cold-hearted take.
I got
don't know if we have it, but
that's because our guy's the king, though, right? Heavy is the head that bears the crown.
Worst take they said in the history of college football.
Everybody had that take.
I didn't have that take.
You did too. You thought it was going to be a bad hire?
I didn't think it would be. I think you said it was the best hire of all time. What'd you think?
I did not say that. That is not what I said. I said it was the best.
What did they say? They put it.
I said it was the best.
It went international.
I said it was the best. It did not go international. I said it was the best hire of that coaching offseason. Which, looking back, I don't remember being blown away by another hire. Notre Dame settled for Marcus Freeman, who has turned out to be the best hire of that offseason.
In your defense, that was a consensus opinion of that offseason.
Yes. That's okay. Freezing cold takes, I love you. That's fine.
This was on the sheet. I know you hate Dabo. I'll get his name right. I felt bad for him in his speech. If you saw his speech, he's basically like crying up on the podium. He cried in the post game. He's like, all I care about is winning. Like, I'm trying to win. This is the lowest I've been. We've had high. I mean, it was a violin. I was waiting for little graphics to fly in, like the sad trombone. It was a sad press conference.
It is a shame for Dabo that he's going 1-3. It is a shame that the coaches are required to do press conferences and he has to get on the mic after every game, because every time he gets on the mic when he's losing, it just gets worse and worse for him. He just takes a shovel out.
Oh, I thought that was good for him.
You thought that was good for him?
I thought that was a very sympathy. He wasn't.
You're talking about after the game when they lost to Syracuse.
Post-game press conference.
Okay.
What else would I be talking about?
Well, his press conference last week when he was doing I'm 55 years old.
Daily show, right, Blutman, right, me? We go forward. So why would I be talking about his press conference from 2 weeks ago as opposed to his press conference after the Clemson game?
To be fair,
I was talking about his press conferences in general. Dabo, throughout the years, makes people either like him or really dislike him by virtue of his press conferences. He gets in there and he treats them as his therapy sessions.
This was a therapy session, which I thought made him very sympathetic. He was not doing, if you're sick of winning, get rid of me. This was like he was breaking down. He was bearing his soul on how much it hurts him to lose.
Yeah.
Which, like, I get, but also flip side is happening. This is all the losing's happening because of him and his inept ability to not adapt to the current model of the game and the sport. So, like, when he says, all I know is winning, like, I just want to win, I'm trying so hard. Well, you're really not. If you were trying so hard to win, you'd have handed the keys to the offense to Garrett Riley, truly. You would have used the portal to your best, which they have not tried to do at all. Their player development has been as pathetic as it gets in the sport. Nobody has, I get it, they won the ACC championship last year. They've been able to win and succeed in the ACC. Not as impressive as it sounds in years past. This year would have been very impressive, whatever. They have way too much talent to be failing like this, failing at a catastrophic rate like this. If Dabo was truly trying.
Well, yeah, but that trying, if you're going to use that logic, that means everybody who doesn't win isn't trying.
But he's not trying.
He's trying to do it his way. He's trying to do it his way. What you're saying isn't he's not trying. He's not adapting. He's not evolving. That's what you're saying.
And everyone wants to go and say, hey, man, like, look at his resume. Well, a lot of stuff has happened in the world since the last time Dabo Swinney won a national championship. There was a global pandemic smushed in between his national championship and where we are in 2025. There's a transfer portal open. There is so much different. The players could get paid now. Mm-hmm. There's too much that he has access to that he's not utilizing at his full disposal, and the blood is on his hands. I don't care what anyone else has to say about it.
That's why Fran Brown, though, is kind of the perfect coach to hire or to highlight in this instance, is that's the guy who beats Dabo on Saturday, and he's kind of perfectly adapted to the new modern landscape, right? He's young, dynamic. They lost Pena, they lost Orlando, they lost Kyle McCord. Like, I thought Syracuse was going to suck, and then they're doing wind sprint. They're calling performative in there. And I'm not saying they're great, but Fran Brown, what he has done at a school that was dead in the water, he has to be considered one of the faster rising coaches in the country.
Syracuse, though, may be a Clemson killer because they even beat Clemson when Clemson was at the
height. Yeah, that's true. They do always get Clemson.
So maybe they're just the Clemson killer. Who knows? I mean, the pandemic's a good point. They haven't done anything since the pandemic. It reminds me of another team that hasn't beat a team since pre-pandemic.
Oh, here we go.
Ohio State. No, he mentioned pandemic. Ohio State. I saw a guy at Starbucks. No joke. He comes up to me. He goes, I'm wearing Michigan. He goes, you guys going to get him this year? Ohio State. I go, where have you been, buddy?
He's been asleep.
Like, if Michigan could play Ohio State every week, we'd never lose.
Let's dive into the Michigan game real quick. We'll get to the other games a bit later on. But Michigan on the road at Nebraska, this felt like such an opportunity for the Huskers. They don't get it done. Michigan really just brutal drive to end the game that I want to get into. But Dave, what were your main takeaways from the Wolverines' win Saturday?
So a couple things. I think first, it was we just outclassed Nebraska at every position. It was really men amongst boys, brutalized them in the trenches. This game should not have been that close. Nebraska had no business being in the game. An absolutely idiotic move at the end of the first half by the Michigan coaches, not calling timeout, allowing them to throw a Hail Mary for a touchdown. We had a taunting penalty that extended a drive. This was just crazy. But my overall take on Michigan, very positive. That was as sloppy as we could play, but we look strong where you need to be strong in the trenches. Bryce Underwood, let's not forget, he's a true freshman. Not his best game, but if we keep improving, I do think Michigan very much is the hunt for a playoff team. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Michigan guy. They looked like a playoff team in the trenches to me.
So I don't like this, but the men against boys thing is exactly right. They are good on the offensive and defensive lines. The running game, Justice Haynes is really good.
So much better than
And
anyone
this is
expected.
the worst Bryce Underwood will ever see. He's still 3 or 4 games into his freshman season. His coach is in, he's out, he's in, he's out. And this is the worst one we'll ever see. He only threw for 105 yards, but you see it. You see the throws. You see the talent. You see how good he is. 2 or 3 years from now, this guy is going to be a Heisman Trophy caliber quarterback. I don't know how good they're going to be in the Big Ten, but they got the ingredients, like you just said. I just don't know if they got the coaching.
If you're a Nebraska fan, man, that final field goal drive by Michigan, that's a break your spirit drive.
When do you give up? If you're a Nebraska fan,
not yet,
when do you say it's over for us?
You know they have a lot in front of them, specifically this year, but this was just such a harsh rebuke because, like, since Matt Rule got that job, since day one, all he's tried to do is be Michigan. We want to get back to being tough, trenches, run the ball. Nobody's been better at that in recent memory than Michigan. And so for Michigan to go 8 minutes, 15 plays, kick that field goal to close out that game, it was, again, it's like just breaking the back of Nebraska.
Matt Rule seems like he should be an NIL type coach. He gets it. He's doing. I did a podcast on him. He's getting the right people. Now, do they have the money to play? That seems like it's a program. They only care about Nebraska football. No pro team. Great facilities, but man, they were in a different league. And I mean, I know Will Compton doesn't work any here. You almost feel this guy, since I've known him, he hasn't had not one moment with his school. He's gotten embarrassed on a national level by them every single week. They trot him out for these Jumbotron videos. What is he going to say next week? And he's not at this company. I still have feelings for him. I feel bad for anybody that is consistently embarrassed like that. I think he's going to shave his head.
All right, that's hour 1 of Wake Up Barstool here on a Monday. We still got plenty of NFL, plenty of college football. We got Coach Gruden's Shredline as well. More Wake Up Barstool right here on FS1. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Wake Up Barstool, hour number 2. T-Bob Hebert, Dave Portnoy.
You okay?
Brandon Portnoy. Davey Portnoy. Brandon Walker. We got Meek Phil and Liam Blutman with us. Let's dive back into the NFL weekend that was, guys. Crazy day yesterday. A ton of special teams plays all over the place. But maybe nobody feeling more special than Chicago Bears fans. I mean, you would think, like, just like that, Caleb Williams leads the league in touchdowns. Rome Odunze leads the league in receiving touchdowns. They put it on the Cowboys yesterday. Is this more about the Cowboys being god-awful, or should Bears fans be excited right now?
It's 100% the Cowboys being awful. The Bears fans can be excited because their offense did open up and they were doing some fun things, and that's great. They got to see Caleb Williams do some fun things. But this is going to happen to the Cowboys every single week. Last week it was Russell Wilson. This week it's Caleb Williams. Next week it'll be whoever they play. The Cowboys' defense is truly generationally awful.
And I don't want to, because I do like, we're in Chicago. There's a live show in Chicago. We have a lot of Chicago people we like. I don't want to be the guy who burst their bubble, but despite hanging about 1 million points on him, he missed a lot of throws yesterday. Still on top of that, I mean, guys are wide open. The Bears are going to get their, 6 wins. But no, they're caught mediocre. Caleb, not the guy. So it's nice. They got to take their victories when they can get them. Yesterday was you get them. And in this league, some franchises, some fan bases, they play for the regular season.
Do you think it's fair to say Caleb not the guy this early? I know you've been saying it the whole time. I know you decided it coming out of college. But yesterday did show some hope that, okay, if the plays are there, he can make them.
Well, I started this segment by saying he missed a lot of plays.
I heard that.
If you're playing a really good team, you can't miss a lot of throws. No, he's not the guy. I firmly believe he is not the guy.
Meek, I see you nodding along back there. What do you want to say?
No, it's just how bad the Cowboys' defense is. I mean, Russell Wilson put up 35 points on them the week before. Caleb Williams 31 this week. They play the Raiders next week, so they'll probably win that game, and people will be like, "Oh, Caleb Williams is really good." It's probably beating bad teams.
Look at this highlight package. The guys
wide open.
There's nobody within 40 yards of these guys.
Yeah.
These are college throws. These are throws you make at USC when your talent is 100 times better than who you're playing, and there's nobody near them. And a lot of times you see that with these quarterbacks. You can win with just having better talent. You gotta win because you're better than the other guys. These are all paid athletes in the pros.
I guess my point being, Ben Johnson is an offensive guy, and he is somebody that gets a lot out of his guys. The more Caleb Williams plays for him, and you get 8, 9, 10 weeks deep in the season, can Ben Johnson get that out of him and make him the guy? You say no. It's over.
I don't want to be that guy
You're
that
that guy
says
every
my
time.
quarterback doesn't win with painted fingernails, but that sticks with me.
Okay.
Speaking of your quarterback, a guy that is
Drake May.
they're always
Is he the
gonna be
guy?
compared. Steelers-Pats yesterday, just an unreal sloppy game from the Pats, dropping one at home to Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. Dave, that has to be one of the more frustrating games.
You can't win in this league when you turn the ball over a million times, which the Patriots did. They almost still won. So I heard some Patriot fans being like, it actually was sort of encouraging that, I think everybody watched the game knows the Patriots, minus the turnovers, you can't say that. That's the league. I don't think a team there was some crazy stat on how many teams have turned the ball over going into the end zone in the under the 5-yard line, within the 5. It hadn't happened in like 10, 15 years. It's a loss, and I tweeted it's a crushing loss because I do think the Patriots will be potentially in the playoff hunt, and a game here or there may matter. Long-term future of the franchise, I think Drake May is the guy. He's going to be way more conscious of the pocket. He had a fumble that...
His fumble was bad.
Yeah, you're running around for 10 minutes. You're not protecting the football. You have to know you're going to get hit. I'd like to think those things he'll learn as he gets older. If you said, Dave, was it discouraging or encouraging? I'm going discouraging because I think they can be a playoff team, and we need that win. I'm a little bit past encouraging losses with this team.
What the Patriots wore yesterday, top 5 uniform in the sport.
Absolutely.
The Minutemen
Absolutely
logo.
beautiful. I don't know why that's not every week.
Pat the Patriot.
Isn't it funny, though? It's like, because the Bucks wore their creamsicles yesterday.
Those are also
Yeah.
awesome.
And they're also awesome, but did y'all feel that growing up? Because I remember thinking those were ugly as hell growing up.
They were great, but they were so bad.
Yeah.
They just weren't a factor. Like they almost were synonymous with being awful. That quote, the old, who's the old Bucks coach who has
Execution?
We didn't. I'm for it. No, same guy. We didn't tackle, but we made up for it by not blocking.
That's right.
An all-time guy. Hey.
Just a note, the last time a team had
McKay?
5 turnovers and won, it was last December when the Commanders turned the ball over 5 times and still beat Kenny Pickett. So it happened recently.
So I do want to ask a question about
Bill
the
McKay?
Steelers here.
What was his name?
It may have been Bill McKay.
Paul McKay? Bill McKay?
White
Who's
hair.
the first coach of the Buccaneers?
Bill McKay is going to be my guess.
Bill McKay is a composer and guitarist. I don't think it was him.
Adam
Just
McKay.
Googled first
It could
coach
be
of the Bucs.
multiple Bill McKays, though, Meek. White hair.
John McKay.
John McKay. I knew it was 4
We're
letters.
close.
It's just classic white guy name right there with Bill.
I've used that quote over 100 times in my life. Made up for it. I didn't block, but made up for it by not tackling.
Ridiculous amount of times to use one quote.
now,
47.
what about Pittsburgh here? Because
They stink.
They're right. Okay,
I don't
that's what
see
I
it
was
with
kind of
them.
getting
I
at,
don't
right?
see it.
I don't
Aaron
think so
Rodgers
either,
done. They
dude.
stink. Forget about it. They had no business being in that game. They're not a real team. And this is when they're generally good. But Pittsburgh's an absolute non-threat. The team that I think you can discuss coming out, and I always look because I'm trying to come out with the NFL, who took a step where you're like, this could actually be a team, is maybe the Seahawks.
I thought the Browns. I listen, and I know the Browns are going to be bad. I know, but their defense is so
Defense is
good.
Super Bowl defense.
They were one kicker away from being 2-1 right now. They had the kicker mess up in week 1. I think the Browns are going to give everybody fits all year.
I agree, but you're not.
I guess you can't.
With Flacco, you're not gonna be like a playoff winning. But their defense is a Super Bowl defense.
Their defense is eye-opening.
Yes.
I was really impressed. And yeah, you're right. The Seahawks, but the Saints are just garbage. The bad teams are super bad.
Yeah,
the
Saints
Dolphins, the Saints, the Cowboys defense. The bad teams are super bad this year.
Saints might be the worst I've ever. Well, they are the worst I've ever seen. But hey, look, first round pick quarterback finally coming. First time since 1971.
Paper bags?
Absolutely. The Aints are back. Paper bags are back.
But that's a team you know going in was going to be bad. So
It can't hurt me. I went
Correct.
ice skating yesterday.
Yeah, right.
It was awesome, dude. I haven't been ice skating since I was like 10. It was great. Coming up next here on Wake Up Barstool, more NFL to get into. We got Coach Gruden's Shredline coming up later in the hour as well. Look at that beautiful Chicago skyline. Let's have ourselves a great week, guys. More Wake Up.
I want that to be live before we're done in the year. Like if it's raining out, it should be raining in that graphic.
Welcome back to Wake Up Barstool here on FS1. Let's continue to break down yesterday's NFL action. Special teams all over the place, bad beats all over the place. One of the worst yesterday, the Tampa Bay Bucks whooping the Jets' ass all day long. Here they are, they're up 6, they're lined up, they kick the field goal, go ahead and cover, into game. They've been in control the entire time, and what a play by McDonald. He leaps to center, blocks, he returns it himself, and all of a sudden, Tampa's in trouble, but who do they have under center? Baker Mayfield. Guys, they're 3-0 with Baker leading 3 go-ahead drives with less than a minute left.
First things first, F on the highlight package, not to include the coach doing that.
Correct.
Oh, yeah. Aaron Glenn was awesome.
Absolutely need him doing that celebrate. Now, do you want your coach celebrating like that? Different question, can be debated, but
Did you like it?
I liked it.
Yeah. My only thing was when I saw the celebration, then I looked down. I think there was a minute and 47 left.
There was too much, and even after the cover, that would have given the Bucks the cover at the time. The game wasn't over. The Jets still had plenty of time to go get a backdoor. But yeah, that celebration, whoever's cutting these things up, to not include that, you got to look yourself in the mirror and be better.
I think Aaron Glenn was within his rights there, right?
I was fine. Big comeback
all the way back, dude. But how about Baker though? I mean, after showing everybody last Monday night, kind of taking everybody's hearts, the guy just, when he has to have it, again, 3-0 with 3 game-winning drives in the final minute.
So there are quarterbacks in this league that can go out and put up big numbers, and then there's quarterbacks in this league that within 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, if you give them the ball in a tie game, a close game, they're going to get the job done. Mahomes has been it forever, and Baker is joining that group. That if he's down 2, if he's down 3, and he gets the ball, he's going to go score, and he's going to matter, and he's going to do these plays for Tampa Bay. I think he's found another level early this year.
And on the opposite end,
without Mike Evans, by the way, at the end of that game.
Yeah, they had players dropping like flies. Ibuka came in limited too and was still able to.
He's so good.
He had 2 backup tackles.
Yeah, like what they did is so unbelievably impressive, even though it's against the
on the opposite end of the spectrum, a guy that I was thinking was already in the tier 1 spectrum of quarterbacks. What is going on in Houston? CJ Stroud.
Yeah, man.
I mean, that team, the momentum they had when they lost to the Chiefs, the year the Chiefs won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And everyone's saying, watch out. They out-physicaled them. They could have beaten this team. They're the hot team coming into next year. I fell in the trap. I actually had them last year. They were terrible last year. They haven't won this year. I don't know what is going on. That is... If you're a Texan fan, that is, I think, actually the worst place to be. When your hopes get so high and you're like, we are entering rarefied air, and it looks like they're starting over now. What happened to this team?
I thought it was the sophomore slump for CJ Stroud, but it is continuing this year. I don't know how much you watched the Texans-Jags yesterday. It was bad football. It was ugly because Trevor Lawrence hadn't found it yet either. That offense is just dropping passes after dropping passes. They're making mistakes, and the Texans get the ball with a chance to win. Another interception. Like it was bad quarterbacking. That's what happened in that game.
NFC South football.
So CJ Stroud has gone one direction. Justin Herbert's gone the complete opposite. It's been an incredible year for him. He continues to flourish under Harbaugh. The play that he made to tie the game is one of the single greatest quarterbacking plays you will ever see in your entire life. This throw, rolling opposite, man is face to, that's 3 people can do that in the NFL, in the world right now. Justin Herbert, Chargers 3-0, massive win over the Broncos.
Great throw. I thought I watched it in real time. I had the Chargers. I won their -2.5, so I watched this live. I thought you were overblowing it. It's a great play. It's a great play, and I root for the Chargers. Harbaugh, obviously I'm a Harbaugh guy. Herbert, if we're just going to be honest, I have been pumping the brakes on Herbert. He's off to a good start. They're a Super Bowl threat. There's no doubt about it.
Quinn Johnson.
I'm not going to say what I said during the break. I will say this. Justin Herbert is an enigma, but T-Bob, look at the difference here in the development of C.J. Stroud and the development of Justin Herbert. One team invested heavily in the offensive line. The other team's offensive line has seemingly regressed year after year, and their offensive They got rid of Bobby Slowick, and things still haven't gotten cleaner. Their offense is so brutal to watch, and it's not just CJ's fault. It's everyone's fault that's involved there. They got
The defensive guy is the head coach.
Yeah.
big issues.
It's everyone's fault.
Yeah.
All the way around. And in the break, you said Quentin Johnson stole Marvin Harrison Jr.'s
And Brian Thomas says yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he did. He monster.
I think that the movie Him might have been based on a true story about Quentin Johnson's offseason.
You know, guys, Justin Herbert. Herbert? The anglicized version of A-Bear. Just saying.
No,
Coming up next.
We actually didn't know that.
Yeah, well, now you do. Coming up next here on Wake Up Barstool, we got Coach Jon Gruden back with his shred line. You're not going to want to miss it. More here on FS1.
Never thought about Herbert.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Wake Up Barstool here on FS1, breaking down the football weekend that was. And while there were a few winners, maybe nobody more than the Indiana Hoosiers, what they did to Illinois in a ranked-unranked battle in Bloomington. Rankings should have been reversed with the benefit of hindsight. But how about Fernando Mendoza, 21 of 23, 5 touchdowns? You heard Gruden say it. They could have scored 100 on Illinois Saturday.
Yeah, they destroyed them. It was over from the very start. This is what they did in Nebraska last year when Nebraska, I think, was ranked in the Coaches Poll, but they were not ranked in the AP. They beat them 56-7 or something like that. And they did it again here. Listen, Cignetti gets these guys to believe. He goes out and he gets the better quarterback this year than he had last year. They're a very good team. Last year, I thought they were a byproduct of their schedule. This year, they're going to have to prove more. And it started with this game against a top 10 team. And you could argue Illinois is a top 10 team, but I would still have them top 20. And I just think this was super, super impressive.
Dave, are you feeling threatened by Indiana at all?
No.
The Big Ten hierarchy.
No. I listen, they had a great run last year, and they actually beat Michigan last year, but it was a game that they escaped Michigan, I would say. We started dominating the line of scrimmage towards the end of it, and it was a down period for Michigan. I am not worried. I still think we'd probably smash them in the trenches after what I saw last week. But listen, I am a Big Ten guy. The more times I see Big Ten, 19 versus Indiana, obviously I'll switch, 9 versus Illinois in the numbers. The more ranked teams for the Big Ten, the better. We're with the Big 12 commissioner. He says the same thing. You got to root for every. Conferences really do have to root for each other in this new playoff era, because when it comes down to who's going to get in it, everyone's going to start looking who played who and what. So you should be rooting for your conference. So I want Indiana to be good.
I think Texas Tech made more of a statement than Indiana did, though.
Indiana
did it at home.
I don't know.
Indiana did it at home, and Texas Tech beat a fellow Big Ten contender. I don't know that Illinois is a Big 12 contender.
They're both Big 12 teams, though, in the
No, but
Illinois is not a serious contender to win the Big Ten title.
You had them ranked 8th last week. What do you mean?
Why is he doing this?
That was
Did you
just
pay
their
him
point.
extra for that?
They beat your 8th ranked team by 53 points. What more of a statement do you want?
Hey, Meek, the point is
That's a great
Utah
point.
and Texas Tech, both Big 12 championship contenders. The Big Ten championship is going to go through Ohio State, Penn State, or Oregon. Period.
But Illinois is ranked 8th
Period.
on your list last week.
That's
They beat
not-
them by
It's a good win. What are you doing? It's a good win. I didn't
You
argue.
just said Texas Tech had a better win. It's not.
Texas Tech had a bigger win inside their conference.
Yeah.
They beat another Big 12 contender.
But it wasn't by 53 points.
but
You got to get rid of him if he's just going to do this. Is he just going to talk out of your butt?
Well, he's not. He's saying, let me translate to Meek. Meek is saying, I believe you had Illinois 8 last week.
Indiana had a very big win.
That's a big point. That's a fair point.
In the context of the conference they're trying to win.
But they were 8th in your ranking.
That's great. Going to Utah and winning the way they did is a big signal to the Big 12. Hey, this conference runs through us. Indiana can't say that in the Big 10.
Because of Michigan, Ohio State.
No, because of Oregon, Penn State, and Ohio State has nothing to
Is
do with
USC
Michigan.
real?
That's a good
We'll
question.
see.
I
We'll
thought
see.
for a
I'm getting
second
close.
Saturday night they were, and then they started playing with their food a little bit. We'll find out this week. We'll find out a lot about Illinois this week, too, because USC is coming in there.
Well,
But,
we found out a
Yeah.
lot about Illinois.
But if they bounce
the
back,
same thing's going to happen.
if
And
they
let me
bounce
say
back-
something about that.
You
You
keep
can just
papers.
leave them there.
Just keep the papers.
The papers fell. We can be a little messy. It doesn't. I didn't know that you. What is it when you like keep scratching yourself? What do they call that? Like
Whatever. Don't worry about it.
No, what?
OCD is what he's trying to say.
No, not poison. What?
OCD.
OCD, that the papers go down, you freak out. I don't know what we knew about Utah either, because Utah and Texas Tech both going into that game hadn't played anybody. If you recall, correct me if I'm wrong over here, geeks, Utah ended the season horrifically last year. They had one of the worst seasons they've ever had. So we don't know that Utah's any good. Point to Meek. beating your number 8 team in the poll by 60 points is a more impressive win. More impressive. It may not go through, the conference may not go through them, but that's because the Big Ten's a better conference than the Big 12. Sorry, Brett, it's true.
Indiana was super impressive, and this was a great
Brett Yormark and I are best friends. Just put that on.
Well, say his name right then.
Yormark.
Close enough.
I told
Not
you
really.
I'm not a name
English
guy.
is different.
Did you take a picture on the field with him? I did.
I had dinner with him the other night.
We all did. That was a group dinner. He doesn't know your name.
You're right. He doesn't know my name. And Urban Meyer, talked to him for an hour. He called me Dan the entire time.
No.
Called me Dan the whole time.
So Dan had Illinois in the top 10, not Brandon.
Dan did, yeah.
Dan did.
Listen, I had Illinois in the top 10.
And I had Utah in the top 10.
Illinois.
We could both be wrong. We're both wrong.
Indiana was very good. This is not a shot at them. But in the context of the season and what Texas Tech is trying to accomplish, this was a huge win to go to Utah. Utah is a tough place to play, is it not?
Brandon.
Utah is very tough.
Crowd Saturday shows were incredible.
To win
On Big Noon and
34-10,
College Hall, it was incredible.
Brand, like the irony of the results, I agree with you because, again, with Indiana and Cignetti, I've become accustomed to them absolutely throttling inferior teams. It's not my fault. It's not Indiana's fault that the AP wanted to have fun and trick everyone into thinking Illinois.
But this guy doesn't do the AP.
And he
had 8.
listened to it. He let the AP
what is this guy doing? Yeah, I had him 8.
Or not.
No,
the
but that
AP
goes against
influenced
everything.
Brandon Walker.
Because your polls have consistently been, here's the 8th best team in the country,
Right.
according to me. And they lost by 60, and you're not crediting Indiana for that, so shame on you.
Are you people listening to what you're saying?
Yes.
I am. Indiana was super impressive. That is a great win. For the Big 12 race and Texas Tech anointing itself as the favorite, I think it was a bigger win for them in the long term. Indiana was great. Indiana was super
I know
impressive.
what he's saying.
I've
I
said the whole
disagree.
time.
Okay. So, but to just explore the Texas Tech point more, because you just talked about it, right? What they're doing is fascinating.
Yes.
They are setting a precedent, a pathway to what you can do in modern college football. And within that context, the Tech win is massive. Because this is a game that they lose every year for the past years. Every year they're overhyped. It never comes through. Not only do they win, but they win with toughness. Like regardless of what you think about, and he's pretty damn good. But regardless of what you think about Utah, the offensive line has 2 first-round tackles, NFL talent all over the place. Where did Texas Tech put the most money? In their front 7.
Now, also, as I was speaking with Brett Yormark, Commissioner of Big 12 at dinner, Yormark at dinner, he was, and I didn't realize that the cap has changed. There's going to be more of a hard cap. Now, some of these teams front-loaded their money. So
yeah, everybody shoved all their war chest in this last offseason.
Yeah, so they're ahead of the rules a little bit that'll be enforced. So some of these teams are spending more, and it should even out down the road. This is what just Brett and I were talking about over some Italian and steak.
Look, next time you're talking to Brett, can I call him that?
Probably be next week.
Next time you're talking to Commissioner
They were
Yormark.
4 seats away. There were 2 people in between them. They were not having a personal one-on-one
No,
conversation.
Brett and I were. If you saw, there's a picture of us on the field, arm in arm. We also were talking maybe trying to get our show to the Big 12 championship, potentially. It's not on these airways, so I don't know what'll happen. When I say airways, I mean Fox, so I don't know what'll happen. But me and Brett are actually, Yormark are very close.
So ask him this then, because I know what he's talking about. Like the revenue sharing creates in theory a cap, because now NIL is just going to be real NIL, and we have like an enforcement arm. I don't know how can they possibly parse what's real NIL or not.
So I asked that very question.
Oh wow, to
I'm
Brett?
like, how? Yes, I'm like, how are you going to enforce? He is on the enforcement committee.
Okay.
So he was not indicating that enforcement would be lax, because he and the other commissioners make up the committee.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah. See? I told you.
We're going to have another picture from Utah later, but
Okay. All
They're
right.
not friends.
All right.
They're not
Let's
What is
get into
this?
they're not buddies.
What is this? On the field.
The photo op.
Photo op for you. Who do you think asked for that photo?
Probably him.
Exactly, because we're friends.
Brett knows how to pump up the Big 12.
We talk Arch.
Yes, I was just about to say. Let's get into Arch Manning. They played Sam Houston. Arch looked great, but kind of the headline of the game is Arch trucking just a Sam Houston kid who will maybe be like in medical sales, or I don't know, maybe he's a businessman. But the point is, trucking this kid and then standing over him in the end zone, Dave, fair or foul?
Now, Brennan said he thought he knew what I'd say here. This is so foul, I can't even stand. This is Sam Houston State. This is a guy who's supposed to be the Heisman favorite coming into the season. He's been much maligned, hasn't done anything. You're playing a team, you're probably going to beat up by 100. Do it, you know what, do it versus the man. Do it versus somebody who looks you in the eye, not the little guy. And by the way, I watched the replay. He didn't even really truck.
He didn't really run him over,
It's
did
not
he?
really
No,
trucking.
he didn't.
Absolutely, you cannot do that. It's a bad look for Arch Manning. If there's one thing that people have said about me through my career, I do not pick on the little guy. I will not ever bully the little guy. I don't treat the little guy any different than the big guy. This was a disgusting moment for me to see.
Look at Meek not mine along.
He's right.
Brandon, do you agree with Dave's assessment?
About Arch or about him not picking on the little guy?
I think about the latter.
Because that's going to get an FCC violation if I talk about that one. All right, Arch, he's right. He's 100% right. This is ridiculous. Arch is somebody who has, and I understand, and maybe you struggled, maybe you haven't played as well as you have or thought you were going to play, and you finally score a touchdown and you're feeling yourself. Well, go celebrate with your team. Don't stand over this guy who plays for Sam Houston State. He's right. You got Georgia in a couple of weeks. You got Oklahoma coming up. Do it then. Do it when you run over an Oklahoma player and you score a touchdown. This was crazy.
The old pick on somebody your own size.
Any Texas player standing over a Sam Houston player is going to look bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's a millionaire standing over a kid who's just playing for football.
Totally. And now, not his defense. It's in the moment. It's not like he planned it. He's probably got all this pent-up stuff. But it's a terrible look no matter what. I don't think also UTEP guys go to be medical salesmen. I'm just saying that.
Sam Houston.
Well, why not? What do you mean? That's like a classic athlete thing. We don't know anything but football. We get out. You're pretty good at talking normally. Just go sell shoulders.
Okay.
Knees, shoulders, hips.
Is that what medical sales?
I thought medical sales were generally pretty blondes going to schmooze a doctor.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's as allowed anymore. You're thinking like big pharma sales back in the day? Yes. And there is a lot of that in the device department as well, but I got a ton of
I don't think you know that much about medical sales.
I was an athlete who got done and realized, oh, wait, I don't know anything. All I know is football. I'm a general studies major.
That's just sales in general.
Yeah,
but
but
medical sales, pharma sales, pretty blonde girl, all the right parts. Doctors want to see him, buy some meds. I'm pretty sure that's what that is.
You may be able to gaslight Brandon into his Illinois belief and why that game mattered less or whatever, but you're not going to. Athletes do medical sales. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Sales.
Car
sales.
sales.
Crazy.
Athletes
Car
do
sales, insurance sales, real estate, all of it.
But not pharma. Not when you got to go schmooze the doctor.
Doctors love talking ball.
Like, what do you think? If our nerds, if Blutman walks in trying to sell pharma sales, they don't even let him through the door.
No.
Yeah, what are you talking about? What if the guy loves college football?
No, I'd rather
wants
just die.
to pick Liam.
I wouldn't know. I was just gonna say, speaking of Prairie Blondes, Arch's mom not happy about what Arch did.
Oh,
That's a
really?
good point. Yeah, no,
Correct.
Arch
very
said that
mad
she was
about
upset
it.
with him.
Well, yeah, it's picking on the little guy. And it's not only, it's one thing if he's been cruising this season.
Yeah.
It doesn't look as bad if he's doing it versus everybody. He's been awful.
Yeah, it was pent-up aggression,
Yes.
anger, and just releasing emotion, which wrong place, wrong time.
But if he had waited to do this against Oklahoma in a couple of weeks, I'd been like, wow, he's showing some
Yeah,
fire.
well, look, he'll have his opportunity to do that. He could still do this against Oklahoma, and we'll cheer him on.
I don't know if he'll be able to score a touchdown against Oklahoma.
Depends if we'll cheer him on, too. That depends.
People who were not going to cheer on, Brandon, you've been on this for a while. This is going to be an insane coaching cycle this year. Too many jobs were retained last season, and already it started to take shape. I mean, Mike Gundy, Oklahoma State, losing to Tulsa. Sam Pittman in Arkansas blowing it against Memphis.
I had
Luke
Memphis
Fickell.
outright. I called that one.
Okay. Luke Fickell, disaster at Wisconsin.
Well,
Dabo at Clemson. Napier at Florida.
Yeah.
It's bad, boys.
Napier's pre-fired. Gundy's going to get fired. Pittman is the one guy. They should be 2-2 right now and ranked in the top.
Yeah.
They should be 4-0 right now, ranked in the top 25. Instead, they're 2-2 because they fumbled on the last drive in the last 2 weeks when they were going to win the game. But Pittman's never been the right guy for that job. They're going to get him out. It's going to be a gigantic one. Gundy is the one, though. I never in a million years thought the Gundy administration would end like this at Oklahoma State. Losing to Tulsa. It's been, 20 years now? What do you think?
Boom, pick, and dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
They lost a billionaire.
Big fact.
He could have been a beast in the NIL era.
Program. I don't think that one's not that surprising. It's the same thing as Dabo. They're not.
Well, the fallout is still
still think
surprising. 2 years ago, they had Ollie Gordon and made the championship.
Yeah,
and thought it'd be the Big 12.
sure. But when you're not investing in NIL and when you're not adapting to the game and adopting the portal to its full use,
Fine.
I'm going to expect these things to completely falter.
Like an evil, villain in a superhero movie just watching The Portal.
But
there's no context. Yeah,
there's a big difference in not competing at the top of the Big 12 and losing to Tulsa at home and just getting destroyed.
Yes.
I never thought Gundy would allow this cratering to happen.
Fair. And the one excuse he has is their starting quarterback, who looked to be extremely competent, by far the best player on their team, gets hurt in the first half of their season opener, and the rest of their team has zero talent.
There's
zero talent anywhere.
But again, I think what we have to go back to here, what do you do with Luke Fickell? Because I think Dabo probably survives, right? It's over. It's already over in Wisconsin.
Well, his big thing was he came in and tried to switch Wisconsin football. He tried to change them to an air raid, tried to change everything about them. They need to be big, fat offensive linemen, great running backs, and you go from there. And he tried to change it. It didn't work. I thought it was going to work, and it hasn't.
And that's why they have a very easy hire to make. New Mexico head coach Jason Knight, who's a Wisconsin guy at heart. That's
a big
hire.
Wants.
Yeah.
Dave,
Mexico's sneaky, very good team this year.
Not
Dave,
really.
better job, Wisconsin or Arkansas?
To me, they're very similar jobs. They're both schools where you should be playing in bowl games. You should be knocking on the door of the playoffs. I think I saw a stat. Wisconsin, I believe, is the second most wins in the bowl era without going to the playoffs. But they're not national championship teams. They're not the Michigans. They're not the Ohio States. They're not the LSUs. They're not the Alabamas. Maybe Arkansas. If you told me what team can truly win a national title, maybe Arkansas. I've never been to the kid, but
they've got 3 billionaires, right? They've got Jones, they've got Tyson Chicken, they've got Walmart. Can they spur investment? That's up to the coach. But that's maybe where I give a slight edge.
They're very similar. I would give slight edge to Arkansas. Because I think anybody can get in there. I don't know if Wisconsin still cares about academics and whatnot, because it is a good academic school. I think anything goes at Arkansas. Anything goes.
I mean, Bobby Petrino's on their coaching staff right now.
Yeah.
The OC.
And he's going to be their interim coach soon. Are we ready for that?
Yeah. Petrino back at the helm of the Hogs. And we'll be back with more Wake Up Barstool, wrapping up today's show. Monday Night Football coming up tonight. More Wake Up here on FS1. This is Wake Up Barstool, FS1. And look, this weekend, the Barstool Sports College Football Show is on the road in Utah. The crowd was incredible. It was absolutely electric. But some unforeseen drama ended up developing as a group of Boise State basketball players made the trip because they wanted to meet Dave, they wanted to see the show, and to fit in, they decided to wear some Utah gear. They took this picture, and Brandon, what has happened in the ensuing time?
I think all hell has broken loose. So these guys wanted to come down, they wanted to see Dave, they wanted to get the picture taken with him. I think when they got there, they were like, we don't want to stick out like sore thumbs. Let's blend in and try to get into the crowd a little bit. So they wore the Utah stuff. They are Boise State basketball players, and they wore Utah gear so that they could blend in. And they got their picture with Dave, and it's great for them. And then all of a sudden, Boise State's fan base got wind of it. They have been sending these guys hell. They've overreacted. They've reacted. The Boise State athletic director even made a statement, said we're aware of the situation. We're gonna look into it.
Learning experience.
I've heard from behind the scenes that these guys are going to get punished for it. It's going crazy for these guys. What do you think?
So I'm wearing Utah gear in the photo. I'm a Michigan guy, obviously. I think now I don't know the dynamics of a Utah State versus Boise, if that's like a heated rivalry. Like, you'll never catch me with Ohio State gear on or Michigan State, but I will wear, if we're on other campuses, virtually any other school's gear.
Yeah.
Now, their analogy, if they wanted to blend in, you could have just worn street clothes. You didn't have to wear,
or just red.
Yeah, you could.
Also
you didn't have to
true.
wear Utah, but I don't. For me, not a big problem at all. I think you said one of them had a friend on the team or anything. Again, I'm not living in a world where I think Utah, Boise State is some blood rival, so I think it's much to do about nothing. I thought the bigger deal, to be honest, T-Bob, was during this show, we're waiting for a segment, crowd's behind us, and there's a young lady, probably a BFF fan, and she taps me and says, "Hey, Dave, can I get a picture?" And of course, we'd take pictures. And she said, "Excuse me, sir, old man over here, will you take this picture?" Walker said, "No."
Okay, all right. Okay,
No,
That's a mischaracterization of what happened.
That's exactly what happened.
They walked us over, Fox Big Noon has the big stage, and then they have the field over there in amongst the crowd.
Yeah,
Okay,
for sure.
so they walk us over there because we're about to go on
Correct.
for our little hit, and I'm standing next to Dave. I have the microphone, I have the ear, I have everything, and Dave has the microphone and the ear. We're 20 seconds from going on. Lady taps us and says, "Hey, Dave, will you take a picture?" He said, "Yeah," and she hands me the phone. I'm like, lady, I'm going on TV too.
I'm Brandon Walker. I'm on this show too.
I'm going on TV too. I'm not going to take your picture.
How dare you ask me? I'm on this panel too. My name is Brandon Walker.
I didn't say how dare you, but I was like, no,
I'm on this show too.
And it wasn't about her. It wasn't about her. It was about him. I wasn't getting him the satisfaction.
Was it really 20 seconds?
No,
how close?
How close?
It was right up. You know, it was right up against
the picture. I said, "Give me the phone. I'll do it." We did one of these. I'm Brandon Walker. I'm on.
Like, I mean, you know, like you're going.
I was going on the show too.
The girl had to be 16 years old. She would just ask you.
She was not 16 years old.
Young girl. I'm Brandon Walker.
I was just going on the show.
Dave, the question is though, how are you planning to help these kids? How are you planning to help these boys?
To be honest, I didn't even know this was a controversy till Brandon.
So I dove in the mentions, and Boise State fans were saying, kick them off the team, take their scholarships, take their NIL. It was crazy. It was just an overreaction. Okay, maybe they made a stupid decision in the moment, but they weren't.
I don't even know
malicious.
The AD learning experience for what? It's a different sport. Like, I think it would have been weirder to be straight Boise gear at this. It's like, what are you doing? And I don't know. I just think cross-sport animosity doesn't. Maybe there's a chance I don't get the Boise State, Utah.
I don't think they're rivals.
Well, they're like old whack foes, but they haven't played in basketball since 2017. They haven't played in football since 2010.
Oh, then what are we talking
about? And also, for like context of who's in the image, the only guy I recognize is the guy on the right, who is their best player. So if you're punishing their best player, best of luck this season.
And I think you said there was some sort of personal connection.
Yeah, I believe they knew somebody there.
Like on the team, yeah, I don't know. It seems much to do about nothing. Again, unless now, would you again going back? Would Michigan fans be upset if a Michigan athlete was wearing Ohio State gear? Of course, but I don't see this like that.
Would you wear Indiana gear right now?
Yes.
Where's the cutoff? Okay,
yes.
so
I have one.
It's just Ohio State, Michigan State.
Yeah,
okay.
On their campus. I wouldn't be wearing it just around the office or just for fun.
I one time as a bit thought LSU was going to smoke Mississippi State, and I went and tailgated Mississippi State gear, blah blah blah, and I got roasted for it. I got absolutely my
while
favorite
they
play
were
ever.
Playing. You mean?
Yeah. It was a bad bit. It was a bit gone sideways. I thought we were going to smoke them. And
again,
Mississippi State actually won that day. That was bad.
I look at it how we do things, and Brandon actually does the same thing. He was wearing the Indiana. We will wear the gear of the schools we're at. I mean,
you said the Utah school shop was incredible.
Correct. I love going and I love going to bookstores as long as it's not an arch rival that I care about. I have a much harder time doing it with pro sports. Like, you will not catch me in another baseball team. Like, I love pro baseball hats. Love them.
Like, you wouldn't wear a Kansas City Royals hat?
No, I would not.
No.
Wow. See, I would do that too.
No, I wouldn't.
All right, guys, coming up tonight, Monday Night Football, absolute banger. Couple of probably the best 1-1 teams in the entire NFL. You got the Lions at the Ravens. Give me a thought.
Well, just great offenses and high scoring. I think I need a high scoring game after that Sunday night debacle or whatever that was. Watching Russell Wilson, it's going to be a joy watching Jared Goff and Lamar Jackson go back and forth. And yeah, 2 Super Bowl contenders.
Well, to me, the jury is very much out on the Lions. Lions were great 2 years ago. They sputtered, a lot of injuries. You say great offense. Packers pretty much shut them down in week 1. They put up a ton versus the Bears. I don't think the Bears defense is any good. I'm sold on the Ravens, a Super Bowl contender, great offense. Tonight, to me, will tell us a lot more about the Lions than it'll do with the Ravens. Is it going to be high scoring? We'll find out. I think the over's the play here. But this game is all about the Lions for me. Are they real or are they not? I think we find out tonight.
Yeah, massive game for both teams. The opportunity to be 2-1 versus 1-2, and really the Ravens still probably trying to flush that week 1 loss. I just can't get over how good Lamar Jackson is. Mm-hmm. He's the highest rated quarterback in NFL history. He's got like a 72% win percentage in the regular season.
Regular season Lamar.
It's, again, yes, he has to get it done in the playoffs. I get it. But to your point about the Lions.
That's a little more than just I get it. I mean, he's been awful.
That's all fine. Are you telling me you would have taken the picture if she'd asked for it with me?
Absolutely.
No, you wouldn't have.
Absolutely.
You would not have. No chance in the world. There's no chance. You're saying if she said, Dave, take this picture of me.
Meek. Let's go to the unbiased source. Meek, would Dave have taken the picture?
God,
100%.
Exactly. Dave would have taken a picture.
All right, guys. We love you. Thank you.
I didn't do that.
Hey, Caitlin Clark,
I
I'll
love
pay
you.
your
See you
$200
tomorrow. Wake Up
Yeah,
Barstool.
Caleb, watch out, Indiana Fever.
I'll
Shock
pay
the
your
world,
fine.
40-1. That's a crazy stat. Do I have time to say the crazy stat?
Yeah.
I bet the Fever with Gators to win a national championship, they won. It's still worse odds than.